you mentioned that you're completely against lazy marketing. I wanted to know from you, what do you define as lazy marketing and how do you
I,
ensure your team?
I think the
Okay.
laziness that I see in marketing a lot now, which is people being extremely comfortable sitting back and not going out there, not being creators, not engaging with customers, not sort of throwing themselves on the problem. Um, and uh, and I think that's just fundamentally when you don't pick up the phone and speak to a customer, okay, or you don't stand in the heat with the same customer in a line and try to figure out what that journey is, or when you yourself are not going into your sort of product and manufacturing and you're not standing there, you're not standing at retail, potentially you're not standing where there's actual interaction happening, and you are relying on large scale data to build that awareness for you. uh, I think it's a little lazy, yeah. Okay, because brands are built on the back of what is happening with the consumer at the moment when they're discovering the product, and
Right.
then at the moment when they're consuming the product, right? It's so critical for marketeers, for storytellers to have such a strong, astute understanding of it. That's number one. I think second is this over reliance on influencers. It's been something that I have spoken about earlier also, that don't rely on the influencer to dictate the narrative for you, right? And don't rely on too many influencers to create that maximum capacity for you. I have seen a lot of brands throw a lot of money on the problem.
Mm.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of it. I come from extremely frugal means. When you run your own agency, you're extremely frugal. When you work with early stage startups, which was pre VC, you're extremely frugal. You're more concerned about money being spent and where it's to be spent. So I think I have built that natural behavior. But I just, it's a genuine request to all marketeers, and I've done this in multiple forums. I've written about this also on my LinkedIn, that if you have to go to a KOL, which is a key opinion leader, if you have to go to one, then really craft the story beautifully. Work with them, co-create with them. Yeah. One, don't try to dictate it. Second, don't leave it to them. Okay. It's a
Mm.
process of co-creation. And it goes back to my first point also, right? Building a brand is a process of co-creation. At some stage, you're co-creating it with the customer. At some stage, you're co-creating it with your founder and your product team and so on and so forth, right? Then you create the narrative, co-create the narrative with your key opinion leader. Then you co-create more narratives with your user-generated content. Marketers need to
Right.
get into the depth of the problem and start solving it by thinking about what kind of content should I create? I need to get my community involved in this content. I need to create a space where my community can come in and have conversations with me or with each other. I need to build some amount of a commerce funnel through this, but the commerce funnel can't be built purely on the back of commerce. It needs to be built on the back of purpose and mission and value systems. I am not going to rely only on this large scale data that I see lying on a dashboard. I'm going to go out there and get first person data as much as I can by interacting with people, engaging with them, and ensuring that I'm learning from their daily lives. I'm going to get into the emotional envelope of the brand and not only the practical envelope of the brand. Now, the emotional envelope of the brand is something that you discover over a period of time. It does not happen organically on day one. I'm going to make sure that I wear a hat which is business first, profitability first, founder first, and stakeholder first, right? But alongside this, I'm also going to wear a hat where I'm going to go extremely consumer centric. I'm going to try to figure out how can I make things better for them. The parameters of marketing have changed. I need to be able to understand technology. I need to understand shelves. I need to understand pricing. I need to understand distribution. I should have a fairly strong sense of supply chain. I should understand how logistics work. I really need to have a grasp on consumer delight. If I can't get a sense of all of this, then dude, you're not a marketer. You're essentially just running ads. There's a big difference between the two, right? If you're here to run ads, then run ads. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, the world needs you. I need you when I run my team. Absolutely fantastic, right? You're a marketer for that particular space, and that's a good thing. But if you want to build a career in marketing, okay, and that is really where it comes down to. If you want to build a career in marketing, which allows you to take larger decisions, enable an organization to take larger decisions, empower people to learn and grow, create capacity, which is talent, capital, and ideas, then you need to get into the rigor of the problem, solve it yourself, make sure that you're engaging with the right set of people who are your consumers and your stakeholders, and really build that optimum capacity where you are able to learn, iterate, change, learn, execute, iterate, and go back through that same funnel over and over again. I think for me, marketing needs to get more in depth into the business rigor of it. That's about it. And if that happens, then yeah, then I won't consider it to be lazy. I think some of it is.